Hello, boys and girls. Today we are going to be looking at a new website for you guys. It is called the Underground Railroad Escape from Slavery. And this is relevant to you guys for a couple of reasons. The first one is you guys just learned about the Underground Railroad, but you might have some more questions about it because it's a very interesting topic. And a second reason why we're looking at this is because it's a very interactive website. With a lot of information. So we're actually not going to be able to look at everything that's on this because there is just so much, especially not today in today's class, but we will get to learn a lot more about the lives of slaves that were escaping on the Underground Railroad. So the way that this website is set up, it's set up as a journey for you guys where you would start typically on number 1, which is about the life of a slave on the plantation. But for our purposes, we are actually going to be starting on number 2, which is labeled as escape. Now, the reason why we're starting on this is because I know you guys know a little bit more about life on the plantation because we've talked about it before. But something that your textbooks or books that we've read in class may not focus on is the actual act of escaping. I would say you don't get a lot of information in class about that. So you might be curious, you might have some questions. So hopefully this journey will help you to answer those questions. Another great thing about this website, which is probably one of my favorite parts, other than it being super interactive, is the fact that you can listen to almost all the text that is on this website with these little icons here, which is a person's head with headphones on. That's why I asked you guys to bring your headphones to class for this activity, because I want you to be able to read along as you listen to the text as it's read to you, which I think will help you to absorb the information and it'll just make things a little bit more interesting for you. So, like I said, we're going to be beginning on step 2 here. So I'm just going to click that, and that'll bring me right to the page that I want you guys to start on. Now you'll notice that this bar with the journey remains at the top right here. So that's always going to be at the top of your screen, right underneath the heading of the website itself. So you can always use this to navigate back if you accidentally click off onto something else. You can always use this navigation bar to take you back to the escape page, which is where you're going to be mainly navigating today for today's class. So as you can see already, it's got this little vibrating symbol because it wants me to listen to this text first. So that is where you guys are going to begin in this journey. However, I'm going to close that for 1 second actually so you could see what this looks like. So it's set up as a little map of icons that you can click on over this image. So what you're going to be doing is clicking on these images and listening to or reading or just following along with the text as it's being read or as you're reading it. If you really don't want to listen to it, that's fine. And you're going to be doing these activities in whatever order you would like in terms of the plus signs. However, I do ask that you do not do this activity until you have read everything else on this page, listened to everything else that you need to listen to, and also filled out the worksheet, which you should have in front of you because we've handed it out at this point for this website, for this page. So to go back to that initial reading that it had that popped up as soon as you got onto this page, if you accidentally close out of it, you could just click on this icon right here because that is the one that has the initial reading on it. You can listen, and as you are if you press the listen button, it'll automatically scroll for you down this reading here. Or if you're reading manually, you would just use these arrows to scroll. Make sure that you are scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the reading itself so that you're not missing anything. It is quite long, so I find it better to listen to it just so you don't lose track of where you are or so you don't lose focus. But once you are finished with that, to make all the other buttons accessible to you, you can close it, okay? And then each one of these pluses, like I said, you're going to start with the plus signs. If you click on it, it's going to be a short blurb, which again, there's the listen symbol up here in this right-hand corner, which then you can press and it will play the audio for you as you follow along reading the text, okay? And then when you're finished, you could just press this X out and move on to the next plus sign. And then the same thing, it'll be a blurb. You can listen to it or you just read it yourself without listening to it. and then when you're done, press X. So you're going to continue doing that, like I said, whatever order you want to with these other symbols. I do recommend starting with this listening one because that starts the narrative or the story that's told by the main character that this website focuses on, which is a slave. His name is Walter, and you sort of follow his story when you are listening to these listening icons on the other pages. But these other plus signs and this, which is also a very cool feature if you click on it, will follow just general history and stuff. But the actual narrative that this journey follows from the on the life on the plantation to escape, to reaching safety, to reaching freedom is following this slave whose name is Walter. So if you did click on this, which is it looks almost like a video camera, an old style video camera icon, it'll take you to a little box like this, which has these numbers at the bottom, you'll notice. And for each one of these numbers is a different blurb that sort of takes you through a little bit of a historical recounting of what would happen when a slave attempted to escape, if he was caught, things like that. It'll take you through that. You can click manually yourself all the way to the last one, which is 13, or you can choose to have it read to you again, starting on the first slide. If you press the listening button, when it's finished reading this slide, it will automatically move on to the next one. So you don't even have to click next, it'll go on for you. And then again, when you're finished, just press X and it will take you back to that main page. Again, you can close out of this. And once you have clicked on all of these icons, the plus sign, the headphones, and this video camera, then you are going to go and fill out this worksheet, which we have for you. You should have it on paper. The Underground Railroad, write about it, escape the Underground Railroad. There are 6 questions, which you can feel free to fill out as you are noticing that you're seeing the answer somewhere, or you could wait until you've read everything you need to read in order to fill it out, of course in complete sentences. And then, if you have finished all of that, then you can go on to this last activity here, which is a very cool kind of fun activity. You read about the secret letters that they wrote to communicate with one another as they were trying to move people along the Underground Railroad. So here you can see that it's in a telegram form because that's the way that they communicated at this time. So they would write telegrams to each other in code. So if you read this text, you'll see why that is and how that worked. And then if you look down here, they give you a list of common terms and phrases that they would use in these messages to one another. So you can see the term or phrase that they used and then what it actually means beneath it. Okay, so that's the type of vocabulary they would use. And then once you finish reading that, there is an activity called Complete a Letter. If you click on it, write a letter. It takes you to a page where you can sort of drag and drop these little phrases into the appropriate spot on the letter. As you saw there, this clearly was not the word that belongs there because it bounced it back. But if it was the proper word, it would stay in place. So I gave that one away, unfortunately, but I'm sure you guys will have fun filling out the rest of it. Once you've done that, which again, this is the last thing you should be doing because mainly I'm mostly concerned with you guys filling out this worksheet, and then only if you have time should you be moving on to the secret letter activity. Okay, but I'm really excited about this website. I think it's got a lot of information that is going to answer a lot of your questions. And again, if you do need help during any of this, I am more than available to help you navigate or try and understand some of the information since it is a lot of information to use. But I hope that you enjoy it and learn a lot from it.